sponsor. I have been listening to the discussions previously and have many nagging questions regarding the state of marriage dissolution in the Philippines. And this is not to mean, Mr. Speaker, that this humble representation hasn't decided on the position he has to take regarding divorce in the country. In fact, I have my own position on the said matter. But listening to the previous interpellation, Mr. Speaker, which prompted this representation to ask few clarificatory questions and infuse a new perspective, Mr. Speaker. Those questions that were previously asked to the gentleman from Albay were born out of a belief, which is basically, Mr. Speaker, of Christian character. And as we all know, Mr. Speaker, down south, in the predominantly Muslim areas in Mindanao, specifically from my region, divorce is allowed, Mr. Speaker, because we consider marriage as both a social institution that goes through legal processes, Mr. Speaker. So for me, Mr. Speaker, the bill clearly its purpose really is to address a gap in the current law which prevents dysfunctional marriages, which have already run their course and cannot be further revived from being put to rest. Para bang, Mr. Speaker, itong patay na bangkay na hinahayaang babulok. Like a rotting dead body, a dysfunctional marriage, Mr. Speaker, may cause illness, psychological, physical, social, and emotional illnesses on all involved, the spouses, the children, and to some extent, to the whole nation. That is why, Mr. Speaker, I wish to seek enlightenment on a few matters to the dear and honorable sponsor. Mr. Speaker, honorable sponsor, does divorce destroy a marriage, or is it the recognition that the marriage can and does go wrong, even to a point of being irreparable? Mr. Speaker.
Mr. Speaker, thank you for that question. Divorce does not destroy a marriage. Before a divorce proceeding is instituted, the marriage has long perished. It has been destroyed by human frailty of either or both of the spouses. The distinguished gentleman is correct that what is before the family court is not a vibrant marriage. It is a cadaver of a marriage, a long dead marriage.
So, Mr. Speaker, would the good sponsor agree with me that divorce, as articulated in this proposed measure, Mr. Speaker, is merely a recognition that there may be things that happens or may happen after the actual marriage that lead to the necessity of them no longer being married and enjoy each other's company? Tama po ba, Mr. Speaker?
Definitely. I totally agree.
Mr. Speaker, honorable sponsor, marami pong dahilan kung bakit ang mag-asawa ay hindi na may pagpapatuloy ang kanilang pagsasama. To paraphrase nga other sayings, the court really, ang divorce po ay hindi pagpatay sa isang bagay or ang marriage, kundi paglibing sa matagal ng bangkay, Mr. Speaker. Now, Mr. Speaker, honorable sponsor, when a married couple live absolutely separate lives, meaning they're no longer living in the same household, would it still be called a family, Mr. Speaker? If they are granted an absolute annulment under the family code, can it still be considered a family? Or, Mr. Speaker, is annulment therefore a method to destroy a family? Mr. Speaker, I just want to be clarified.
Your Honor, neither divorce nor annulment would destroy a family. Under the family code, which is now in existence, in annulment proceedings, the court has jurisdiction to decree on the custody and support of the children. In other words, the family, as much as possible, is responded to by the court and by the couples. What is important is that in annulment or in divorce, the children, members of the family, are spared from the trauma and conflict of incessant battles and clashes between the spouses.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I agree. If we are to liken it, kasi if the annulment really is to grant spouses to live separately, completely from each other, physically, emotionally, psychologically, living separately. If that would be under the, in some perspective of others, saying that it could destroy a family, or once a husband and wife no longer lives together, reassume their status as being single, then it destroys a family. It can no longer be called family. I do not agree on that, because there are also cases where death could also become a source of being separated from a father or a mother. But even death cannot dissolve a family. Kung tayo po ay, ang measurement lang po natin is togetherness, to be called family a family, then meron pong mga pamilya na hindi po namin measure ang kanilang togetherness para sila po itawaging pamilya, Mr. Speaker. So yes, I agree with the answer of the gentleman from Albay.
Thank you,
Under,
Mr.
yes,
Speaker. Thank you very much.
yes, under the law, it's still considered a family. So whether a spouses have been granted to nullify their marriage, they can, with their children, they can still be called family under the family code. So, Mr. Speaker, honorable sponsor, if annulment does not destroy a family according to the family code, but merely to dissolve a marriage, then is it not hypocritical to say that divorce destroys the family, Mr. Speaker, honorable sponsor?
As I've said, Mr. Speaker, distinguished interpolator, like annulment, divorce does not destroy the family. Because there are provisions in a divorce law which would maintain the family, like the award of custody, support, and respect of the legitimate of their children.
Thank you for that response, Mr. Speaker. Sa akin ko pong palagay, kung tayo po ay iintindihin natin ng mas open ang ating understanding, ayaw natin ng divorce, pero in its practical sense, makukumpira po kung makukumpira po doon sa granting ng pag-annul ng marriage, because the idea really is to live separately. Hindi ko lang maintindihan, Mr. Speaker, kung bakit allergic tayo sa word na divorce when in fact inaalaw naman po under the family code for the absolute annulment of a marriage. So to me, Mr. Speaker, is a bit hypocritical, Mr.